I remember the first night, all the missionaries, we go in, we fly in, and it's late in the evening. We get picked up by the mission president, his wife, and the assistants, and then we drove straight to the temple. Because the temple, right across from the temple, they have something called patron housing, which is housing for people who want to come do sessions at the temple, as well as missionary housing for your first night. And so I just remember we got in, those beds were hard as rocks. It's very, but we were so tired that it didn't even matter. We just zonked right out, crashed. And the next morning, I can remember we went through all the trainings. We learned how to contact people on the street and say, hey, I'm a missionary, this is my name, do you have a phone number, could we meet with you? It was really intimidating, just because it's not vocab that I got down very good in the MTC. But that day was really good, because right after that we went out contacting. And I can remember that we got young men from the surrounding wards, and they were our companions. And so we were on exchanges with all these young men, because it's the middle of summer, they didn't have anything to do, so they were able to help us out. And I still remember mine was a boy named Johnny, and he was really instrumental in helping me contact people that day. And I can remember we were contacting in parks specifically, and then we had a few elevator contacts, just like going up to some platform in the park. They had an elevator, and a few people were in the elevator with us. And so that was my first real missionary contacting. In those 3 to 4 hours, I think we got 6 or 8 telephone numbers. And the one lesson we got, I do remember we stopped one boy, and it turns out he was from Nepal, and he spoke perfect English. He didn't even speak Chinese, so we taught the first lesson. My first lesson ever in the mission field was in English. So that was a fun memory, because certainly Johnny, his English wasn't great, and so I had to lead that lesson, but Johnny was a real good support. And then the next day I can remember we met our companions, and the mission president, he calls in, there are 6 new elders, we're going to have 6 trainers, and you line up facing each other, and you don't know who is going to be your companion until it's called out. My companion, I remember seeing him standing there before we got assigned, and I was like, he's going to be my companion. And sure enough, it was Elder Bingham. He was my companion. We opened an area. It's called Chai Wan. And it was on Hong Kong Island. But I remember when the mission president said it, I thought he said we were opening Taiwan. And so I was really confused. I was like, I don't know Mandarin. I've never been to Taiwan. And it was a funny encounter. So that was kind of the first day and a half or so.